Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 8:36 now on O'Connor and Company. It's Larry with Bethany Mandel, who's been with us all morning long. Good morning, Bethany. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a nice morning to spend with you, Larry.
Oh, thank you. Likewise. And as we just mentioned, all eyes are on Washington, D.C. this week as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has arrived and will be engaged in many conversations with the Trump administration over the situation in the Middle East and the lots of moving pieces, including the disposition of all of the hostages still being held by the Hamas terrorists after the October 7th, 2023 massacre. Joining us right now is Ruby Chen. He is watching with keen interest these discussions as he is the father of an American hostage, Chen, who has been held since that day. Mr. Chen, thank you for joining us, sir.
No, thank you for having me, and kudos for doing the Chen thing.
I'm doing my best. Listen, have you had conversations with Prime Minister Netanyahu or with the Trump administration about the disposition of your son and about all of the hostages? Frankly, it's still an absolute outrage that they're still being held here after all this time.
Yes, it is 640 days and counting. As a U.S. citizen, the State Department established a function that helps U.S. hostages wherever. It's called SPIHA, Special President Envoy for Hostage Affairs. And they, of course, have been in constant contact with us. And we also have those relationships with Mr. Steve Witkoff, as well as other from the administration, as well as from the Israeli side. So Itai is unique by being a dual U.S. Israeli citizen. He was 19. He was doing a mandatory service in the IDF, and he was on the border protecting the so-called ceasefire at the time when Hamas decided to attack and ambush all of those people on the border. And that was 21 months ago.
Yeah. So we saw recently the release of Idan Alexander, and it looked like the Trump administration had a lot to do with that release, if not all to do with that release. We're looking forward to, we're all praying for a resolution to the conflict in Gaza. And with that, the release of the remaining hostages that are left. Have you had any communication with the Trump administration that Itai and Omer Nucher, who are both U.S. citizens who are still being held, is there any talk from the Trump administration that their releases will be prioritized?
So when Mr. Witkoff came to Tel Aviv to put the final touches of getting Idan out, we, of course, myself as a New Yorker and the Nutras who live in Long Island, we had hopes that Mr. Witkoff would also be able to get all of the U.S. citizens out. And he took us aside and kind of explained to us why it just wasn't our time. And we should take hope in the fact that he was able to get Idan out, and we became very close to the Alexander family, and of course we are overjoyed to see them reunited with their son. And Steve said, I'm not going to disappoint you guys, and we have that faith that indeed he will bring us to the finish line.
Your son was serving with the IDF at the time of this attack, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. He is of a U.S. citizenship as well as a German citizenship. His mother provided him that. So just to say, at the age of 18, he could have done anything, college in the States, whatever. But both of my family and my wife's family come from Holocaust survivors. There was a time where there was no Jewish state. Yeah. And my son understood the privilege or the obligation of being in the IDF. And it is, highly unfortunate that, we needed 21 months to be at this stage. We do believe that the Middle East at large is at an inflection point. All those fabulous wins over Iran, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and even Hamas. And now's the time to pause from a position of strength and cut a deal that will be able to take the military achievements and turn it into a sustainable agreement for the better of all the people in the region, as well as for the United States that has strategic interests in the Middle East and would like to gain, the prosperity and the benefits from all the good things that it has done for the people in the Middle East.
I know that there's a lot of conflicting feelings among different hostage families with regards to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Do you feel like he has your family's best interests at heart? Have you had meetings with him where you feel like he is, carrying Itari with him as he's, having these conversations?
I'm sure he feels for us. It was just this weekend. It was the anniversary of his brother, Yoni Netanyahu, that led
on
the
July 4th.
Yeah, that's July 4th. So I'm sure it resonates with him. But when his government went and defined what are the objectives of the war with Hamas, there were a number of them. One of them was the dismantling of Hamas. The second was making sure that October 7th does not happen again. And the third is the release of all the hostages. And I come from a business background, and I know that you can't have more than one mission statement. And when you have a couple, sometimes one supersedes the other. And it's unfortunate to say, but as a fact, we're still here for 21 months. And it just means that the hostages was not prioritized as it should. And we, the families, are not in a good place when we see a partial deal that does not provide the confidence that the last hostage will come out and win.
Yeah.
And I think after such a long time, it is reasonable to ask for the Prime Minister to do a deal that gets the last hostage out with a date associated to it. And I do hope that it is not because of political restrictions or obligations that he has that he's not able to get to that point. If you look at the deal at the moment, it's pretty similar to what we had a year ago. And the question is, why is it so difficult to get to that finish line?
Yeah.
And I am happy that President Trump, took this as a main objective. He's not given enough credit since his inauguration. 47 U.S. citizens have been released from either being a hostage or unlawfully detained. I know he cares about this topic. He cares very much about this topic.
Yeah.
And we just need to hope that the president in this meeting this week, today, is able to put all the players at a place that they find a way to get this done.
Rabbi Chen, we'll leave it there. We will keep you, your family, and of course Itai in our prayers all week long and every day until he is free. Thank you, sir.
God bless. God bless all of you. Thank you.
It is 8:44.